kind of miss this place. I haven't been here since 1985. 84, actually. When we played NC State here. Yeah.
Obviously, you know, there's a lot went wrong today, but are there any benefits to having this kind of loss this early in the season?
No. No, I don't think there's not a good time to have a loss. I mean, it depends. I've always said losses aren't bad. But losses give you an opportunity to self-criticize, self-evaluate, and decide and realize, I think, what is it that we have to get way, way, way better at. Sometimes it's things you didn't know, you know, and sometimes it's things you've been afraid, I hope they don't happen. Sometimes you take a lot of positives out of a loss, and you can chalk it up to, you know, we did this, 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 and this, but you know what? These two things killed us. So there's a lot of ways you evaluate a loss, regardless whether it's early, middle, or late in the season. Late in the season, real late in March, it's too late to fix anything. But so hopefully this is something that we can go home and put some film together and really look at what are the things that stood out the most from today's game. You know, the atmosphere was fantastic, so I think that had something to do with it. The crowd was incredibly supportive, and NC State played off the crowd. I told West that their team is 10 times better than it was last year. They're more together. They play together better. They know who they are. You know, he's as good a coach as there is in the country. And today, you know, everything they did was better than ours. They coached better. They played better. They were just on top of their game more than I remember. And we got our asses beat. Plain and simple.
Coach, can you talk about that stretch in the third quarter? You guys were, I think, up by 2, and then you guys got in foul trouble, and then I think it was like 8 minutes left in the third quarter. And that stretch after that was a little tough. Kind of talk about the difficulties of being in foul trouble so early in the third quarter.
Yeah, I think they were in the bonus with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter, which is kind of indicative of some of the games that we played this year. You know, that's, I think, on us as coaches to address that. Anytime you foul, you just are undisciplined and you're in the wrong position. It can't be anything else. You're in the wrong position and you're undisciplined. And today, that's who we were. And that's why it happened.
Coach, you mentioned the game day atmosphere and the noise from the fans. How much of that was on y'all's radar going into the game, and then you get into the action as out? Where did it match in terms of your preparation?
Well, we talked about that coming in. We knew it was going to be like this. When this place gets rocking, it's incredibly loud, right? So it's not any surprise, and we were up 10, maybe 9, 10. We were up 2 at halftime, right? So we handled it. I think, given everything, I think we handled it pretty well, considering we didn't get a lot of contributions from a lot of people in that second quarter. You know, so we thought coming out in the third quarter that we can, you know, take what we did in the first half and build on it. You know? And then, again, those first 2 minutes, it just, it got away from us, and we weren't mature enough to handle it, to be honest with you.
Paige, how did you feel? You played the other night, getting back, kind of tonight was a little bit more, you had to be more aggressive, I guess, scoring wise. This team needed that. How did you feel, and kind of where you know, building back to feeling normal and in the game flow?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still getting my conditioning, game rhythm back, getting playing under my belt. But I feel fine, great physically. Just got to be better.
Geno, you talked about missing Dorka the other day in rebounds, and other people needed to step up to rebound.
Yeah.
That obviously was an issue tonight.
Yeah.
How do you plan to address that?
Well, there's this misconception that just because you're tall means you're a good rebounder, which is not the case. Or that if you're not as tall, you can't be as good a rebounder. You know, we had a kid, Jamel Elliott, play for us, who's barely 6 feet tall and got 1,000 rebounds. I think getting rebounds is just an attitude. And we got a shitty attitude towards rebounding. Because it's hard work. It's hard work. And everybody's got to be engaged in it. And, you know, that has to change. Period. We're not going to get any taller than we are right now, you know? And you know, Ice didn't, she didn't have the kind of impact I was hoping she'd have this game. Neither did Aubrey, neither did Carol. We need those guys to have an impact, and they didn't. And so that's really difficult for us. But we have to figure out a way, in spite of what our limitations are, to be better. And you know, yeah, I don't think we were great in the post, but you also have to say to yourself, how many rebounds did their guards get that our guards should have had? So it's not necessarily just a big guy thing, you know. Yeah, I could go on and on a list of the things that I was disappointed in today. You know, you don't give up 92 points just because you don't rebound. There were a lot of factors in that. A lot.
Geno, you mentioned last year that State had talent. When I went up there and asked you, you said they had talent comparable, but they were just younger. They're still a young team, but why do you think the parts fit better this year? What is it about this year as opposed to last year?
It looks to me, I'm not on the inside of it, but it looks to me like everybody understands their role. Everybody plays their role. Everybody is comfortable, it seems like, in their role. And today they played it exactly perfectly, you know. I thought last year they struggled a little bit with any kind of rhythm or continuity during the game. And today they seem to be in sync for the majority of the game.
Sanaya Rivers, just your assessment of her.
Yeah. You know, she probably had the game of her life today, and since she's been in college, I would assume, because she usually is more known for attacking the basket, which she did today, but she got off to a great start, making first mid-range shots and then some threes. And I just think that gave her a world of confidence, and was by far the most dominant player on the floor today.
Maggie. Paige, what did you see from Q today, and just her ability to stay focused despite the environment?
Yeah, Q has a whole lot of confidence. I don't think a lot of things waver that and shake her. And for her to contribute as a freshman and come in with no fear in a game like this when we really needed her was huge, but that's what we see every day at practice. So her contributions and her ability to just be unwavering in her confidence and coming out off the bench and just making an impact on the game is huge, especially for her second college game, her first away game in an environment like this. So I thought she played great.
Geno, if you had to boil down the main issue today, what would it be?
Well, if you put all the things I said in the hat and pull one of them out. But, you know, we outscored them in the paint 42-30. So obviously, even though with our size, it didn't hurt us on that end as much. So the two issues for me were, big picture, this was the worst offensive performance in terms of running our offense, in terms of ball movement, you know, sharing the ball, moving without the ball, changing sides of the floor, one side to the other. It was like we were content to just stand. And maybe that's a lot of young guys being out on the floor or whatever, you know? So that, and that defensively, we couldn't get stops at all. I think those two things more than anything else. Our offense was non-existent, and defensively we didn't get stops.
Paige, can you talk about that a little bit, how difficult it was to defend them?
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of attacking us and getting to the foul line. I think they shot like 17 more free throws than we did, just based off of aggression. But it starts with me, just being able to set that tone defensively, keeping guys in front, making sure I'm in the gap so they can't split us and get to the basket easily. And it's just, defense is a will. You have to want to do it. You have to embrace that. You can have slow feet, but if you have a big heart, it makes up for it. And so we have the ability to change that and be better at practice and demand it out of ourselves first. And then once we start doing it, once I start doing it, us older guys can hold each other accountable and hold everyone else on our team accountable. It has to start with us. It has to start with me. But really, it's just the will to want to defend and keep guys in front of you and make sure that if somebody does get beat, that we have their back, just like they would have ours.
Anything else?